just going to bash through this. The important thing is to understand the principles and the workflow. The tools are going to change. Way, some of the ways I did things 3 years ago with this have changed. So, you know, you're going to have to figure things out on the fly as you go. But yeah, the first time you need structure. Okay, so we have the high res or the high trunk. Okay, I like detail better and game res, but the defaults in Substance Painter are high and low for clarity. We'll stick to that then. Alrighty. Now, the way the files are prepped, the detailed one, I can stack up the shaders. So these guys down here are the cloth. These are the brass. These are the leather handle. This is the leather trim area, or the corners. This is the inner strip there that's in red. And then these are also brass over there. Okay. So, and all that I've done is I've made shaders and assigned them to the faces. Pretty straightforward. Normally, okay, typically you would not want to have multiple shaders onto one mesh like this. It's dangerous, more likely to crash. It's not designed for that. All right. So, oh, right. So now here's the game res mesh. I think it was a good idea to just give a little bump out to some of the parts. I don't think I needed to go so far as doing the rest of the brass. So maybe just the cut there, and the little bulge in the trunk here to get the silhouette. Okay, so the silhouette would come through a little bit. Like we're seeing there, there's a little rise. That's probably all I needed in retrospect. But this is how we figure this stuff out, is each time we do it, we get a little bit better. So this guy, I can't have any overlaps. Could it get a little tighter? Yeah, but it's pretty good. Okay. Notice none of the rivets are on this. That's one of the big details that I'm going to get into this. All right, so everyone's laid out flat. Maybe that could be squared up a bit better. Maybe that could be squared up a bit better. Um, so, I think I could get probably a little more out of this with a little bit more work, because that's a big blank space. Um, Anyhow, so those are the two main guys. I also made a cage, and because 3 years ago when I was doing this, you had to have a cage in Substance Painter. Now you don't. Okay? The cage in Maya, we call it an envelope. Now I'm going to switch to my rendering menu set, lighting and shading, and I go to transfer maps. Okay. And we'll just remove that for now. All right. So the target mesh is all right, clear all. Target mesh is my low. Underscore low is the name we need. My source mesh, okay, is going to be my my high trunk. All right, and I'm gonna change this guy to a 4. Am I on 4? Yeah, I'm on 4. Oh, I'm gonna change. I'm gonna change everything to 4 just for my own sanity. Um, just keeping all the versions separated. All right, so let's go back to. I don't want to. The turning on and off the layers does screw things up. All right, so I will just change that to a 4 and good. Clear all, add selected. Yeah, so that's a 4, that's a 4. And we happen to know that the envelope, okay, so Maya calls it an envelope. Substance Painter calls it a cage. All right, and so I want that to cover everything in the detailed mesh. So maybe, 185. Obvious, you want just enough, which is pretty much your philosophy in games. You want the game res guy to have just enough to look good, but you don't want to waste any. That's the key thing for games. All right, so I'm just baking out these ID maps. So I'm going to say diffuse, which will give me color. All right, I give it, change it to a PNG. And so ID underscore trunk 4. Sounds good? All right. Then we open up the My Comment settings. Now, this never goes into the game engine, so I can get it really big. All right. I can also up the settings so it takes longer to calculate. For this, I'll keep it very low, preview, just so we get through things. And yeah, the Gaussian seems fine. All right. And okay, and let's make sure we give that. Why are you over there? Make sure you know where your project's going. Scenes. And there we go. Scenes and trunk 4. Good. File name, trunk, ID underscore trunk 4. Okay. Yay. Save. And bake. All right. So obviously, if I had higher quality settings, it would take longer. Great. So now we have that baked out. And so there's the low with the texture on it. All right. So now let's get these puppies exported. So I'm going to go to the game exporter. I just find it the most reliable. Export selection. I don't want to do all. I need these guys individually. So this is going to be the low, number 4, and it's going to be in the trunk 4 folder. Smoothing groups, yes. Triangular binormals, yes. Y up, and the latest version of the FBX plugin. All right, so good. So that's gone. Now I go to the high and change the name here to high. So if you're just organized about everything, stuff makes sense. When you get sloppy, bad things happen. And okay, and export. The softwares are written assuming you have clean geometry, assuming that you don't have n-gons. You know, so okay. And I mean, we can do the cage for good measure. Uh, you know, I spent all of 2 minutes making it. Um, and so that's just going to be cage, cage, cage. And it's lowercase. All right. And good. And export. Righto. Okay. And then Substance Painter, start getting Substance Painter up. Good. And we can close out of Maya. And this is just get you started on these things. You know, you can go through down the rabbit hole of, um, oh, yeah. One of the other key things in Maya is the low res one only have one shader assigned to it. Okay? So if you've been combining, sometimes you'll have two shaders on it. So that's no good. All right. And so I do new. This drives me nuts. I go to run trunk 4, trunk 4, and good. And I bring in the low. Okay, we bring the low in, document resolution, and I think we saw that we could change this to a more accurate one at the later in the process. Alrighty. Um, okay, so we got that. Da, 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 da. Excellent. And it's unhappy. Failed to load 3D scene. No matches in scene. Okay. File, new. Select. We can always go back to number 3 if we're hard pressed. Okay. Don't save. Nope, still not liking it. All right, let's leave that available. Hop over here. Trunk 4 low. 1.4 megabytes FBX file. Okay. FBX review. Looks happy. Okay. And 4 low dot FBX. Got to be stubborn with this stuff. And open. Don't save. 424. Scenes. Trunk 4. Oh, I did open. It's new. I hate that naming. It just drives me nuts because it's just not intuitive with the other softwares we use. Okay, OpenGL commute tangent space per fragment, use tile workflow. Okay, that's something we need to look up. And import back. Nope, not liking it. To 100. No project updater. Okay, so 100 megabytes, it's 1 megabyte. All right, we'll have to just grab number 3 uh, for speed. Okay, so new, select trunk 3, grab the low, and okay, don't save. There it comes in. So in class we had this problem. I just had to resave it out, re-export it, um, and that's how we got it. But you gotta be stubborn. Okay, so as you see, I get a little bit of detail from the model. Right, so next I need to, uh, I probably should import my ID map. All right, so that's import resources. Once again, a horrible name. Add resources. And trunk 4, open. I have to tell it that it's a texture. Now, why they can't have it figure that out, everyone else does. Okay, so that's good. So that's in. And I'm going to, one of the reasons why we're baking here and not in Maya is the Maya one can't do ambient occlusion. Um, so that's the reason for that choice. Yeah, we could do the normal there, but not, well, we'd have to do it with Arnold. It's not as easy as this. All right, so I'm popping into here. All right, so that's the bake mesh, which is the little croissant. Okay, we have Lambert 2 there. You'd think I would have fixed that between this morning and now. All right. I'm going to load the high. And scenes. And trunk 4 and high. Okay, as you see down here, it has the low and the high as the presets. That's why we're using them. Okay, and we don't need the ID because we have that. We want the normal. We want the ambient occlusion. I don't think we need, in this case, the curvature. Yeah, maybe you want to try the height. Okay, so, all right. So those are the sexy ones that we want. And how do I get back to, yeah, so there's the ambient occlusion pass, minimum secondary raise, blah, blah. Okay. And I am needing mesh map settings, texture, baking visualization, common settings. There we go. Back to here. Now, if we're not using our cage, we got the, we got our search area that way. Okay, so that's new, probably last year or so. I'm going to use cage, and because I have the cage file. All right, chunk. So that, it works just like the envelope we saw in Maya. So, all right, and we just bake the textures. There's the ambient occlusion. That's the sexy bit that we really want. Okay, now we go back to our paint maps. Okay, now we have lots of things we can do. All right. Once again, I'm just trying to get you started. And I'm going to just start off with the one of the coppers. red bleached, copper worn. There we go. It's on everything. You can open up the folder. You can add more dirt. You can change the parameters. Okay. Knowing what you have selected is also very important. So I have that selected. I right mouse button and I add mask with color selection. Okay. And I don't have, it's not finding it. Okay, so insert curse word there. And I need to find the assets window. Views, assets, there we go. Ta-da. And I pop down to here, trunk 4. I drag it into there. Okay. So here's all sorts of brushes you can use. And to draw in your normals. When they're blue like that, that's the normals. Okay. And okay. So down here I have a color picker. And it says, hey, I know what you're going to do. You're going to do the ID mask. Okay, so there, bam, we're on. You know, isn't that super sexy? Love that. Okay. Once again, you can paint your masks. Okay, you can add different things. It's a super vast software. Okay, and just we'll do one more. Um, and I'm going to look for one of the fabrics. All right. So fabric, fabric linen, fabric cotton creased. Okay. So I drop that on. As you see, it's on top of everything. All right, let's do our mask first. So right mouse button. Okay. And there we go. And we add our ID mask back in. I gotta figure out how to get that to auto load. I think it's probably over here. Oh, there we go. All right, so that will hopefully find it for me and I can just close out of that window. All righty, and so now color picker. And which one are we? Oh, we're doing the cloth. Okay. Great. And so then, now the reason why I wanted to do this one with you guys is we don't want those creases, right? We don't think they're good. So I go down and I turn those puppies off. Hey, that's what we want. Okay. So yeah, the presets are great, but work with them. Okay, figure out, it is hard to find where the color is sometimes in these guys. And so it's green. Maybe I want it a bit more blue. Okay. So then I make sure I close that guy up. All righty. So then when you get everything the way you want it, I guess I will quickly just bash out one more. And leather. But Adobe has vast libraries, and of course, you have to subscribe to get to them. And leatherette damaged. Okay, leatherette. Leatherette is plastic leather, if you didn't know. So, stylized. Okay, let's go with that one. Great. And all right, get a Z back. Make sure my selection is out here and do that. Yeah, so the selection does matter. You can accidentally cascade some of these guys. But yeah, on a freelance job 2 years ago now, 3 years ago, we were just, just bashing things in as quickly as I could. Okay, so that's there, and all right, close that guy. Now you see, I keep accidentally dropping it into one of the other guys. All right, let's have that selected. While this is slightly annoying, it's very realistic, that you go, oh, okay. Uh, yeah, you're going to have these problems too. All right, so leather damaged, and so that just dropped in down there, and I'm relatively happy with that. Okay, now our target is Unity, right? So we need to go to Unity with this, right? Yes, that's not looking that bad. So let me do I have Unity up? Okay. So I'll grab the workshop project, get that started while we're over here, and we go and export textures. Voila. And okay, you unfortunately it never remembers where you're gonna where those go. Drove me nuts. For right now, I'm going to. Oh, I have a substance folder. Ooh, okay, I'll toss them into this substance folder, or do I toss them? Toss them into trunk 4, Steve. Just stuff all these things in the same place. Trunk 4, good. Right. And then you pick the formatting, right? So the numbers are different in the different softwares. For Unreal 5, for V-Ray, and even within Unity. So I'm going to do the metallic, standard, but the universal pipeline metallic standard. All right. Interesting. We can do 16 bits. Okay. I unfortunately forgot to rename that. Can I rename that now? No. Okay. All right. Let's cancel out of that. And I got to figure out texture layer set and T underscore trunk 4. All right. So that's the material node, but because that's going to determine the names of things, I want the T there for texture. Export textures because I'm exporting textures. Okay, so it kept that. It lost my address again. Oh boy. Insert swear words here. So it lost that pointer and trunk 4. Okay. And PNGs, that's good. Blah, blah, blah. All right. And output templates. Da, da, da. Diffs. Okay. And list of exports. I don't get why it's giving me the emissive. Hi. PNG. We're not using USD. Save settings. Bastard. Told you there's going to be some swearing involved. Okay, export. And yay, chunks those guys out. And good. And save file. 4. Good. And now we pop over here to Unity, kill off that one. Yeah, I just want to show the whole thought, and that's so important when you're learning forward, and that, you know, trunk 4. You know, a lot of the YouTube tutorials and stuff, they start halfway through. Um, and or they use professionally made stuff where you're like, you know, the question is, can I get stuff we build in Maya to work? Documents, 424. Yeah, don't put the dates into your names. And I do, just because I'll be doing the same thing multiple years, and it gets super messy if I don't. But come on, where are the T's? Okay, so here I'm in the trunk. I have my maps, and I need my low FBX. And then here in Unity, I need to create a material. Trunk M underscore trunk 4. Drop this out into our scene and put the material on it. Come on. There we go. Shows you how much I'm actually in Unity these days. Okay, so render pipeline, the metallic, great. So we need the base map, and so we drop that in, and so that's good. But see how it's just so even on the specularity. And then we'll grab this and drop this into the metallic map. And as you see, now we're getting some variation. And I can change my smoothness and play with that. And then the piece de resistance, the normal map, and there we go. We have our all the rivets in there, and they have a nice little roundness to them, and the buckles have a nice roundness to them. Looks like I did have one bad UV. Okay. And there, that's the whole thought. All right. And so here we're getting a game res with, you know, all that nice detail, with the ambient occlusion, with the yeah. So okay, hope that helps.